Good morning, everyone. I am here from the consortium of ERN America Latina. We work for the GAR report of this year. I want to talk with you about the hybrid curve that is in the chapter 5 of the GAR report, and why we consider that very useful now and in the future. So, what's a loss exceedance curve? The loss exceedance curve can allow us to correlate economic loss with another frequency, or how many times one expected loss can happen. You can say 100 times, 10 times a year, or even less. Because we can display all plausible events, events that doesn't happen yet, because of the existing models from the hazards. So what's the hybrid loss curve, exceedance curve? It's include what is done, what is made using the database, the real events that have happened already, and the future events that we expect someday to happen. So we have two different sets, the retrospective and the prospective sets of events. So we can correlate. We can correlate in the first part minor events that only affect a little river, just a few houses, a crop, or something very small that is not possible to do in the national model because of the size of the exposure and the hazard. We need to know it's almost impossible at this moment. And the last part of the curve allows us with some models construct future events of hazards like earthquakes and hurricanes that can happen once every 100 years, once every 500 or 1,000, and we can say how big can be that loss. So this is the retrospective analysis. We take into account minor events, and it's useful for events that we can model easy, like hydrometeorological and landslides. We require an exhaustive inventory of past events, detailed report, account from little events, and that's what offers us this inventor database. This inventor doesn't need a catastrophic event of a national emergency call. It reports if you had one landslide, one road, everything to the database, and allow us to build this economical impact based on that. So this is the reasons we choose and we use this inventory. We use an economical model based on this manual from the EDLAC to measure how big are these impacts. So with that information, we build this kind of curves. We can see here how is every individual event, how is taken in the low blue series that is in the right axis, and how it's accumulated over time. So all of this has happened in Colombia, and it is a big impact in the budget of any nation. With this information, we can also construct this kind of information. What kind of events are more likely to happen? What's the principal event based on the return period? What's the area that's affected? and this is how the different category of events are accumulating, and how you can see how hydrometeorological and earthquakes are always the winners in this case. So this is how put this example video. Yes. No. Here is just to show you how this. Okay. Click. Sorry for that. Here I was supposed to display how it's building the curve, the Exceedance curve, every time the events take into account. So I have a time window from 40 years, and I was looking, putting inside every one of the events, and that changed my frequency for every one of them, because they was happening more and more and more. So the same information we worked for Mexico and for Nepal, and give us this kind of information also. Here is the economic loss of the three countries, and it can tell us that in Colombia every 6 years there is a economical disaster for $100 million. In Mexico every 6 years there is an economic impact of $1 billion. And in Nepal every 2 years it's expected a $10 million disaster. So all of these have to take into account for the government to act, or to take the budget to work with that and make some prevention, some planification that allow to reduce this, because at the same time that these events and these losses are happening, also the human lives are in the stage, are losing lives, are getting people injured, and that is also invaluable. So this is for the government periods of every one of the countries. You can see how the economic loss are increasing. In the average, are increasing the average of the economic loss for every government, and this can display the maximum of a loss every year. Not necessarily is the main event, but in one case, take hard quarter of the accumulated. For most of the cases, just a 10% or less. So this is the past events, the database. So we now have to work with the future events, the expected events. So we have to predict future major events for hazards like hurricanes, earthquakes, like. And we, for that, use the Capra platform. This is a platform. It's working in Latin America and Caribbean countries that allows measure your own risk. We have a hazard model that is a probabilistic representation of what we can expect, an exposure model, and a vulnerability. All of this we can put together inside Capra, and we can work for each event individually. We can build an exposure model for each country based on demographic indicators, economical indicators, help on expertise, local experts, and we can build this kind of models. And we can also separate it for a group: residential, commercial, industry, health, education. For Mexico, and for Nepal. So we have our exposure, we have our hazard, and the vulnerability we can use based on ASUS and local experts and our own experts estimate the behavior of the buildings and the different structures that we have in our exposed portfolio. And all of that because this curves of fiscal sector. We define the fiscal sector as the public assets and the low-income assets that the government, in some cases, has to go and help. So this is for Colombia, and we can see how we can expect event a loss of 3,000 million dollars every 100 years. For Mexico, we have two different analyses: earthquake and hurricanes. And for Nepal, we only work with earthquakes, so it's these graphics. And we have built these hybrid curves, where you can see when the probabilistic analysis starts, is the purple one, and how it translatts with the retrospective analysis that is based on a database analysis. We can compare all of the three, and we can also display how is or what we can expect as an annual average loss from the inventory, from the catastrophic analysis, and from the hybrid curve. And how we display that all the inventory estimates in all the cases except by Mexico, the inventory and the catastrophic models underestimate the average loss, the annual average loss. And that's all. I have video to take a little more time, but it works, sorry. Expect you find this is in the annexes of in the papers contributing to the GAR. So if you want to look at it, it's there. It's part of the chapter 5 also, and the background is all in the website. Okay, thank you for attention.